Hi guys, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Lottie Loves Paper. I'm using the fabulous new Simple Stories collection called Bro & Co. It's very male themed and more aimed perhaps towards teens rather than young children, and mine are pretty young, but it still works for younger children, young boys as well. So my layout today is about the fact that I have boys and not girls, and I really loved all of the words on this paper here. It's got lots of things written on it in this really cool font. I really love the font. It's a great it's a great fun boyish font. It's got dude, legit, cool, killing it, yeah, totally awesome, bro, all of those kind of words which are real boy words. So I wanted to showcase as much of that paper onto my layout as possible, but I needed a bit of white space, so I've gone for a torn option. I've torn a large piece for the top and then a smaller strip for the bottom, and I've torn two more pieces from that same paper, but the reverse side is a white, no it's not, it's a red and a light red diagonal stripe. So I have torn those two extra strips. They're only very tiny, and I'm just tucking them underneath the torn edges of the big and small piece of paper. So it gives me kind of like a feel that a piece of paper has been ripped off of the middle of the paper to reveal the white layer underneath. That gives me a really great space to put my photo and other embellishments and things as well. So yeah, it just gives me a large amount of pattern paper on the background without me scrapbooking directly onto that paper, because it's so busy. I was concerned that my photo wouldn't really show up against the busy words on the background. Okay, so I've just mounted my photo, which is me and my two boys, on a journaling card, and I'm going to kind of tuck that under the bottom torn edge. And by the way, I've raised both of those on foam pads, so give me some extra dimension there. So when I come to tuck my photo underneath, I just need to kind of break the seal between the paper and the foam pad, and I can just tuck bits under quite easily. So I'm just now, I know where my photo is going to go. There's not a lot of room for loads of things on this layout because the pattern paper is the main feature. So I want to create a cluster kind of going off to the right of my photo, so I'm just looking for a few bits. So I have that hoodie image or person and my boys wear hoodies all the time, so that works well for me, and then I put out a t-shirt as well, and now I'm kind of looking at my design and thinking that I could do with something further up as well. I tend to like scrapbooking on the vertical rather than horizontal, but this is a very horizontal layout, so somehow I wanted to raise the clusters towards the top of the layout as well, but I didn't want to embellish anything directly onto that pattern paper because it is super duper busy. So I chose a piece of that same paper that I have as a torn layer under the busy words, and I've just cut it into some strips of paper, distressed the edges, and stuck them down. They are a bit blocky considering that the edges are torn elsewhere, but I thought tearing them would then be an overkill on the tearing, so I kept them as blocks, straight edges. And because even though the pattern is dark, it gives me a solid area of colour to embellish. So that's my embellishments will look so much better against a plain pattern. I know it's not plain because it does have a diagonal stripe on it, but because it's a kind of tone on tone colour, it reads quite well as a solid. If it was a red and white stripe, for example, then that would not work at all. It would be just as busy as having the words on the background. So because it's a tone on tone all over colour with no white, it works really well for me to put my embellishments onto. So I've just put a brad at the end of each of those strips. These are metal brads and they have actual what's the word, spikes on them that you pierce and poke through the paper and split on the other side. Some of these brads now are adhesive, but these ones are old school. You actually have to pierce them through the paper. That's fine with me, I don't mind that. They tend to stay in place better that way, but just so you know that they are not the adhesive ones, they are the real old school fashioned ones where you have to pierce through. So I've put one of those at either end of those strips. I'm now just adding some pieces from the chipboard sheet. So I have the chipboard sticker with the flags on and the word awesome, and then I'm just about to add a star as well. I've also pulled out a few other bits to go there, but they don't necessarily end up where they are right now. So I've just then pulled through a Bramble Fox perspective. So I've had this So Cool in turquoise in my stash for quite some time, and I've never had a layout to use it with, or that worked with it, but given that this is a real masculine type layout, it works so well. I love the colour goes well with the papers. You can't see it too well on camera because there's a bit of a glare on it, so that you can't see it that well, but it will show up later, and it will show up in the close-up shots too. But it's a So Cool embellishment by Bramble Fox. That's going to sit there at the top. So now I've come back to working on my clusters at the bottom. I've added a circle sticker that has a star on. I've just added my title, which is Bad Boys. I've just used black thickers from my stash to do that one. I've added the little teddy bear to the left. He's so cute, I love him. He doesn't go that well with the rest of the collection because it's real kind of teen stuff, and then you just suddenly have this teddy bear. I guess teen boys still have their teddy bears, right? But it certainly works well for my nearly 2-year-old and 7-year-old, so I'm good with the teddy bear. He's cool. He's gone straight on there. And there's another star there as well, and I've just added some gold thread behind the hoodie and the t-shirt there, and I've added a brad through there as well. That brad has got a slice of pizza on it. Well, we certainly like pizza in my house, so that goes well. And behind the photo, I've got a journaling card that is a gingham, blue and white gingham diagonal on it, so just to kind of add something like an extra layer behind the photo and the hoodie, kind of link them together. There's a bit of a gap between the photo and the hoodie, so that's why I added that. And then I've put some gold thread on the left hand side as well. So now I'm coming in with some sequins. I've just glued down my perspective, and because it's an acrylic embellishment, it's very solid and rigid and flat, so therefore sometimes the glue that you use, I use Glossy Accents wet glue, can warp the paper because obviously it's a wet adhesive, so it can warp the paper, and therefore you can create like a bubble between the paper and the perspective, and it doesn't stick properly. So that's why I normally put something heavy on. So that's why my punch is sat there upside down on top of the So Cool perspective. Okay, so just adding a few sequins by Spiegelmom Scraps. This is the older mix called something like Totally Cool or something like that. Total Coolness, I think it's called. It has a great mix of colours and goes brilliantly with this collection, so I've been using that a lot for these layouts, and just stuck those in place here and there. And then I have a couple of foam arrow stickers. Now they were on my the thickers font that I use, Bad Boys. I just happened to, sometimes stickers have stars on and things. Well, this one had black arrows, so I used a couple of those. So just put one at the top and one at the bottom, yeah, just going through the stickers now to work out if there's any more that I can add to the layout. So I've just added two at the bottom there. One says buddies and the other one says the guys. And I've added a blue one underneath that you can't see as well that says do not disturb. I wish I had a sign that said do not disturb and that somebody actually listened to it, because it seems to be me who gets disturbed, not the boys. So coming in with a few more stars, because we love stars, and we definitely need stars on boy layouts, right? So I have added some stars, a yellow star and a black star, and there's the black and white check star as well, and various other ones on the layout as well. So yeah, nearly done. I'm just thinking about where I can put my journaling. I don't really want to put it to the right of the embellishment cluster because I think it will distort the layout. So I've decided to go along the torn edge at the top. And I've written, you two certainly drive me crazy. I signed up for girls. So clearly my order got mixed up and I ended up with boys instead. Thank goodness for girly Sophie. So yeah, I do have a girl as well. So thank goodness for that. But it's all about the boys at the moment. They hang out with me all the time. Okay, so that is me done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. You can get the Bro & Co collection over at Lottie Loves Paper. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Lottie Loves Paper.